The UEFA Champions League and the Europa League finals gave us really something to grill about. It was an epic night of football last weekend as Bayern were crowned champions and Sevilla, of course, made themselves king of Europa League when it comes to Champions League, no doubt. But as far as Europa League is concerned and Sevilla is in the mix, you need to watch your back. On that note, I welcome you to this week's episode of the program, Sport Pizza. I'm your host, Brownson and Kunle. Lots of things lined up on the show for you. You want to find out what your club is doing on the transfer market? You have to stay glued to your TV screen because we'll be back after this break. Welcome back. And of course, the UEFA Champions League, PSG played a 4-3-3 formation. But today on the show is going to be a 4-2-2 formation. Two guys up front. I am Kunle, striking and scoring all the goals. Kunle, good to have you.
Good to be here once again, Brownson and Kunle, to talk sport. A lot happened in the ever-exciting world of sport. I could say a lot has happened in the last few days. UEFA Champions League, Bayern Munich, a crown champion for the 6th time, and it was a sad end for Paris Saint-Germain. For some of us who felt that, it was a great opportunity for them to win it, and with the caliber of players they have at their disposal, they had what it takes to contend and to compete with Bayern Munich. But on the day they actually allowed it to sleep, and they lost that. It was a sad one. And for the Europa League, it was expected that Sevilla, I think when you talk about Europa League, you always want to mention Sevilla because they won it much more than every other team in Europe, and that was indeed a great achievement for them. Coming from a goal down to win against Inter Milan was a great feat. So congratulations to the two teams, talking about Sevilla and Bayern Munich.
It was a very good game indeed. Now let's look at the Champions League final, because that's the king of finals that went down last weekend. Now, for UEFA Champions League, PSG came out strong. I mean, we saw a team that also played. Bayern, of course, play highline football. PSG also showed that they can play highline football, and they created, in my opinion, better chances, even though the possession didn't go their way. But when they had the ball, they boycotted the midfield, threw long balls, and that created problems for Bayern Munich players. But the problem they had was their last cutting edge, which was pushing the ball to the back of the net.
Yeah, I think one of the things that actually work against them is the fact that they lacked a bit of confidence and experience, as it may, in that game. Because just like you said, I think they had better chances. I remember that clear-cut chance that came the way of Kylian Mbappe towards the end of the first half, and it was very feeble. One would have expected him, in a game of this magnitude, you don't get to have, more chances, a lot of chances in games of that nature, but he just took the shot and it was so feeble. And even I spoke about, I was telling you before we started the show that the only chance, one of the chances created in the first half, and which was almost being converted by Robert Lewandowski, was that it was an half cut chance. It wasn't a clear chance, and it almost went into the net. So I think they had better chances. They could have done better with it. I'm so disappointed, if you ask me. I think the attack foray of Kylian Mbappe, Angel Di Maria, and of course Neymar could wreak havoc on every other thing. And you could see that in the case of Bayern Munich, they have just few vastly experienced players. They have a lot of well-unknown players who are not known right now. You would say players relatively unknown. Yeah. So one would have expected Paris Saint-Germain. I feel that they have what it takes at their disposal to actually get the game going and of course get the victory. But at the end, experience came to fore, and you could say the coach knows exactly what he's doing. Is the third, this is almost the second time. You remember Enikos in 2013, where he won the treble, he won the UEFA Champions League, won the league, and also won the German Cup. And the coach is actually doing the same. I want to say they played the absolutely best of football this season.
It's really not easy playing without the fans. But these guys, they've done it against all odds this season. Of course, no thanks to the coronavirus. But we hope that next season we'll get to see football played with fans, even if it's 50% fans in the stadium. Maybe that will make a whole lot of difference. Now let's cross to the lower division of the European football, where Inter Milan were just this close to winning the Europa League, the last one an European Cup competition under Jose Mourinho. That was in 2010. And after then, this was their next final. And Conte have done well with that team. And look at the way they play. They play very compact football, and a team that scores lots of goals. But the Spanish guys, talking about Sevilla,
they know how to get the
very,
job
very
done.
difficult to beat. When you score them, they come back at you.
I remember the game they played against Manchester United. United dominated from beginning almost to the end of the game, but they soaked all the pressure. And then when it was important for them to get the goals, they got the needed goals, and they broke the heart of millions of Manchester United fans, which our editor, John, so I knew that it was really going to be very tough, but looking at what Conte has done with Inter Milan, he knew that it was going to be a very explosive game. I remember Inter Milan, just like you said, have been doing very well in recent time. And it was just 1 point that separated them and Juventus as far as the league title is concerned. They started on a very good note. I remember Romelu Lukaku won a penalty and converted it. But somewhere along the line, it was always obvious that Sevilla were going to get back into the game, and they were going to punish Inter Milan, which eventually they did equalize. Xavier coming up again, they also equalized before they got the winning goal. The experience, from what I've seen, even in the UEFA Champions League, came to fore in the Europa League because Sevilla have vastly experienced. They've won it 5 times before this one, and to make it 6. I think they have that psychological edge, advantage over Inter Milan, and it really yielded dividends for them.
That psychological block is what teams really have to look out for. Now, if you go back to UEFA Champions League, the finals, you may just want to say that Bayern also had the psychological edge over PSG. PSG playing in that terrain for the first time, at that level for the first time, it's a very, very big stage for them. Just maybe next time, we don't know how long it will take for them to get back to the finals. They just might do better. Welcome back. Now, for all those that enjoyed one leg quarterfinals all the way to the finals, UEFA is considering having a single leg being played from the quarterfinal stage all the way to the finals. And if that happens from 2024 to 2025, we might see a new format. But we expect lots of reactions from this one. But right here on the show, we'll be telling you our views on that. Kunle, one leg quarterfinals. Now, a lot of people have also argued that they feel that is the best way to go because, for instance, there's no way Barcelona would have overturned 8-0 single leg deficit. It means they would have scored like 9-0, 10-1 and all of that in Camp Nou for that to have been overturned. But for one leg, do you think it will make any difference?
One thing Keferin Alexander, the president of UEFA, and the board are actually looking at is the fact that the one-leg games seems to be very exciting, seems to actually carry a lot of grills and thrills. Looking at the game you just talked about, the Barcelona versus Bayern Munich game where we saw a 10-goal thriller. When teams play the first leg, they play with a lot of caution, and some teams want to play defensive. The away team want to be a bit defensive, so that they can actually have an advantage in the second leg. But when you are playing a single leg game, you know you don't have an alternative than go all out and making as many goals. That's what Keferin is talking about. That they have the tendency of scoring as many goals as possible is most likely in a one-leg encounter where the teams will always they won't want to take chances. They want to go all out and attack. And for me, I think it will be a very welcome development if it sees the light of the day between 2014 and 2015 season.
That's talking about 2024, 2025
2024, 2025 season, I beg your pardon.
Now, I agree with all those stuff that he's saying, and I'm sure the way you sound, it look like you have concurred to it already. However, do you think a club like Lyon would have progressed to the semi-finals if it was, home and away basis on the quarterfinals.
Okay, if they
over
win
Man City,
over Man City, it will have been very difficult for them. It seemed like Lyon wouldn't have had, probably their chances would have been very slim because Manchester United, Manchester City will have felt that probably they made a lot of mistakes in the first leg, and they will want to capitalize and work on those mistakes and convert their chances in the second leg. So that is the beauty of the game. That's exactly what Keferin is talking about, that when you have just one leg encounter like that, you need to give it a shot. You need to go all out and ensure that you get the victory. If you don't get it, then you don't have another chance.
Yeah, it has to be one victory or nothing.
Absolutely.
I tell you, it's really going to be
very
interesting. But what's not clear, again, is if from the quarterfinal all the way will be in a neutral venue like what we saw. But talks would begin. He's saying talks will still start to see if that's going to be possible. Now let's move on and talk about Barcelona's new signing. Not a very good news coming from him. New signing, Pjanic has tested positive for COVID-19. The Spanish club announced last Sunday. Now the Bosnian is 30, feeling well, is on self-isolation, but it will take a whole lot of time for him to heal and fully integrate into Barcelona team. And talking about Pjanic for a moment, I thought that he should have stayed back at Juve. I think it was very instrumental in that team.
Yes, the coach actually, I think Barcelona wants him more, and then they actually went all out for him. He's on a free agent, and really, when you're a free agent like that, you have a chance to move to any club. The club cannot tie you down in any way, and that is the case of Pjanic. They knew that he is the kind of player they actually wanted, and you could see there was something like a swap deal. Pjanic moving over to Barcelona, it was a good buy for them, and I think that it will be a great addition for Barcelona. But then talking about the COVID-19, he should take his solace from the fact that almost all footballers or athletes that have actually contacted the virus have survived. Remember the case of Arteta and a few other players who have had it, they've survived. So I think Pjanic will also survive it. And the feelers we're getting from his camp has it that he's actually recuperating well. There is no fears. There's no need to actually fear or panic over him. I'm sure that it's just a matter of weeks. He will be completely healed and okay.
Well, medical facilities there is totally different from what we have in this part. That's why, you know, people can contact COVID-19 and still smile and be in the hospital. But we can't say same in this part of the world. But we want to hope Pjanic a very quick recovery. Now, let's also tell you that Paul Pogba is not going anywhere according to his agent, Raiola. I've never seen an agent so powerful like this man. I mean, he has said it, so it is. At least for another season, we are sure that Paul Pogba will be a player of Manchester United.
Confirmed. He has said it. And that's exactly the way it is. Paul Pogba himself is not talking. I think he wants to stay. Looking at what Manchester United did this season, some people will not agree with me that they've done well. I think for me, there's been a great improvement. Last season, they were nowhere to be found, even near the UEFA Champions League spot. But this year, they were able to get that one done. And they played some, scintillating, exciting football. The attack have been absolutely fantastic. That's why I feel that they need just few additions to be able to really compete for the league and some for other trophies next season. So, Paul Pogba will be a great, he will be very instrumental, will be very pivotal to their quest in actually going all the way, winning titles for next season. So I think from what we have, his contract is due to expire, I think next season or upper season. A couple of weeks ago, we saw him dancing in the dressing room with, with our own.
He should win title and dance with, not just.
I think he just loves dancing. He loves grooving. Grooving. But Brownson, he has done very well this season. You can't take that away from him.
What did he do?
When he came back from injury, in the last few games he played before the season ended, he played a very good. He gave a good account of himself.
See,
at the point in time, Brownson.
How do you judge a successful team? Is it not by winning titles?
No. Yes, you judge by winning titles. But
did
if you don't have Brownson, if you don't have, you see, when you have just one Iroko 3 in the midst of the forest, it doesn't make one tree doesn't make a forest.
Who carried the team towards the end of the season? Was it Paul Pogba?
He did very well. well. He also did very well.
Who was the best player after the lockdown? Who was the best player?
You want to talk about Hernandez, right? But I think he also did very well. You can't take that away from him. He has been absolutely fantastic. That's why I say the tree doesn't make a forest. Okay. When you have those other signings,
I think they have 2 trees now, not 1.
Yes, they have about 3 trees right now.
Okay, let's give you some updates of what's happening in the transfer window, where Chelsea bid to sign Ben Chilwell from Leicester City in a £50 million deal could collapse because of an ankle injury. Very, very sad. That deal has been on for a very long time. Just when you think that deal will be sealed, it looks like it might hit the brick wall. And another deal that might also hit the brick wall because Manchester United will walk away from a deal for 20-year-old England forward Jadon Sancho, with Ed Woodward considering Borussia Dortmund star is too expensive.
Brownson, it's not easy to get a top-class player right now as we speak. Even our own Victor Osimhen, Napoli had to break the bank to actually secure the service of Victor Osimhen as well. So for Jadon Sancho, who for me is a very solid player, he will actually be a great addition for Manchester United if the deal sees the light of the day. They are looking at probably
expensive.
It's not too expensive for me. It's not too expensive. If United does not make use of this opportunity right now, so many other clubs are waiting to actually get him in their ranks. So I think they should go all out. But one thing that is actually limiting from the failures I got is that United are willing to actually pay about £120 million or thereabout. But the initial bid was rejected, but they are ready. But they want to pay it on instrumental basis, looking at what has happened with the COVID-19, the fact that most of the clubs didn't make a lot of, money.
Profits,
exactly. Profits like the hot to this season. So they are looking at probably paying on instrumental basis. Some people will say, that's why I told someone this morning, most of the other time when Arsenal signed this young man from Nicolas Pepe from Lille, people said it's only Arsenal that does Baba Jebu. They were paid on instrumental basis. This is what Manchester United is clamoring to do right now.
Was there COVID-19 when Arsenal signed Pepe?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It doesn't matter.
All right, let's talk about Arsenal since you've mentioned Arsenal. Now, Arsenal Brazil transfer target Felipe Coutinho, 28, has refused to rule out leaving Barcelona this summer. And you've seen issues where Arsenal will go after a player and at the last minute another club will snap it. We hope that this will not be the case.
No, Arsenal looks very serious this season. You could see they are going out for the players. Williams, they went all out and they got him. They are looking at probably bringing in that Lille left back also in their ranks, and work is actually in progress as we speak. So they are also serious about Coutinho. But the problem, the problem that might actually happen is that right now, Barcelona, looking at the fact that Coutinho won the UEFA Champions League and also bagged in 2 goals against his parent club, with the current crisis rocking Barcelona as we speak, I'm not sure the president, Joseph Maria, will want him to go. That might just be the limiting factor. But in terms of finances, being ready to actually get him, I think Arsenal are ready.
Now we hope that Arsenal can really be really swift with this one and sign Coutinho before we hear that maybe a Man U or a Chelsea have taken him away from Arsenal. Now let's take a very quick break, and when we come back, more stories to come, so don't go away. Welcome back. Now let's come back home and talk about what's happening on the home front and on African continent. Good to know that national team football would resume soon, and November you get to see your darling Super Eagles, and the Super Eagles will now face Sierra Leone in the 2021 African Cup of Nations qualifying doubleheader in November, as reported by CAF. The original fixtures were earlier slated for March 27, but that could not take place because of the coronavirus. And CAF, in a letter sent to Nigerian Football Federation last week, signed by its secretary, says that by November we'll get to play football and qualifiers. I think that's really exciting enough.
It's very exciting because the coronavirus have actually stopped it. You remember what one of the players who was invited, Dessa, said how bad he felt because of the fact that the match couldn't see the light of the day at the game involving Nigeria and Sierra Leone. But right now, there's going to be a massive rush, Brownson. African Cup of Nations for 2021, and we also have the World Cup for 2022. So CAF is saying there's going to be a massive rush from November 22. All the qualifiers are going to be around through till next year, November next year. Talking about the African Cup of Nations qualifiers and of course the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. So all the teams should actually be ready for all of this.
I don't think what CAF can do. They can use the African Cup of Nations as qualifiers. Now, for teams that will get to all semi-finals team get automatic qualification, and then the last team that will make it 5 will now do a playoff.
That would be very, very good. I think CAF should actually look at that and tilt towards that, so that the teams will not be so tired. Because if that happens, some of the teams might not really give their best, because when you have to play too many games within a short period, it could have an adverse effect on the players. And I think Ahmad-led board should tilt towards that. Use the African Cup of Nations proper
as a World Cup qualifiers as well.
So it makes things easy for the team,
because,
and of course
because your best team will surely get to the semi-finals.
The semi-final.
And because we're going to have 5 teams, you know, they can just create a playoff system from the quarterfinals.
And Brownson, when the teams knows that this is the opportunity they have to qualify for the World Cup, I'm telling you, the Nations Cup will be very explosive. Let's everybody will want to be in Qatar.
I mean, I can picture it already. Now, that's my final whistle on Sport Pizza today. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms currently displaying on your screen. And we are very active on Instagram right now. So if you want to have an engagement with us, follow us right now, like right now. And I would like to have some interactions with you. Thank you very much, Kunle, for joining us today on the show today.
It's always a pleasure to be here, Brownson. We hope that we'll do it again together next week.
That's what it is. You have to be back to do it for you next week. So let's meet again next week. Until then, please stay safe.